Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Journey with Love podcast, where we bring enlightenment to love, relationships, community, and primarily healing. And so today we have special guest Sklyar, who has joined us. I have been following Sklyar for quite some time. This is my sister on my Facebook side. And so to to watch how she has been to me what looks to be like a subject matter expert when it comes to dating. And so I have asked her to join us today while we discuss different love bites and unwrapping secrets of dating. Because in the culture, a lot of us do not know how to date. And so we're going to get some good advice and tips on what effective dating looks like and how we should just be moving out here, some of the red flags that we should be looking out for, and so forth. And so feel free to chime in and join in on the conversation. It will be interactive. So thank you, Sklyar, so much for joining us. And
Hi.
go ahead and let the people know a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Sklyar, as she said. I don't feel like I'm just this dating guru, but I'm happy with my dating life. I have a skincare business called Butter Bliss. So just wrapped up that sale. Happy to have my freedom back. Other than that, I just live. I travel, I rescue animals and build shit and just do it the Sklyar way, unapologetically. And y'all gonna see some of that with these questions.
Yes. I love it. That unapologeticness is something that we each can adopt. We always try to fit into what people, what society says we should be or what we should look like and move like. And you definitely you do not conform. And so I love that about you. And so yeah, we're gonna get some good tips and information from you on how we can again move through this dating field. So I want to real quick though give just a quick testimony or story about myself. Give a little backstory about myself. I feel like I don't talk about what I've been through enough and how I even ended up in this space to be able to
It's
offer up
really
coaching
raining.
and advice and things like that.
It's raining, girl.
So, so I just came out of I was in a relationship for 25 years. And so from the age of 15 to 40 years old, I was in a relationship with my ex-husband. We shared 3 kids together. The relationship was pretty much toxic the whole way through. We bonded through trauma. I was a control freak and he was a people pleaser. So that was a perfect combination to kind of come together there. And so after spending 25 years in that relationship, and I was such an angry, bitter, hurt woman, just such a broken woman. And matter of fact,
you broke up a little bit. I lost your connection.
Okay. Let me know if you have me back.
I have you back.
Okay. And so I was such a broken and bitter woman. I was angry all the time. You could just see it on my countenance, like my face. I had the resting bitch face thing going bad, overweight, upset, just was not living a very pleasing life. And then one day I made a decision ultimately that I wanted to do something different. I'm like, this cannot be life. I want to do something different. And so I basically began to change my mind, and it started with something so small as me deciding I didn't want to have resting bitch face anymore. So that ultimately started the journey of let's start making changes. And so I started with something that small. Let's get rid of resting bitch face, which means that I had to find things that would help me smile more. And so I would start to take myself out on dates. I would start to buy myself flowers. Working from home, I'd get up and get dressed in the morning just to sit there and look cute, But it was with that subtle change that other changes began to pile on. And I just began to raise my frequency and elevate to a higher place. And so I just really wanted to share just a tidbit about who I am to let you know that I've been in those dark places. I'm out here still trying to figure it out in regards to dating after being in a relationship for 25 years. And there is no manual necessarily on how to do this thing. So I really want to understand and figure it out. And so again, we're going to tap in with Sklyar and get some of these questions asked and answered. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat because we're all here to learn, elevate, and grow together. All right. In knowledge.
I
All
don't know if
right.
I can
So,
see the chat.
so far we just have hi Vaughn. Vaughn is saying, "Hey fam."
Hi, Vaughn. Vaughn Boo Vaughn.
And so let's get started with some of these questions. Okay. I have just a few sample
Okay.
questions and we'll build from there. But can you
Okay.
tell us what are some acceptable questions that we should be asking on a first date? What should we be trying to gauge?
Well, for me with first dates, one, most of the questions that I would want to ask, I've already because you've got to get to know me a lot before you can even get in front of me on a first date. I would keep it light. Like some of these questions, like I'm seeing and like with our temperature, social media. Can you see me? I lost you for a second.
I can see
I
you.
can see
You're
you.
good.
Okay. So some of it is just too much. What's your credit score? What's your 10-year plan? Like, don't nobody owe you that. Like a first date needs to be it just needs to be light. Like, what do you enjoy doing? What do you do you like to travel? Where have you been? And travel is my thing. So it's like, where have you been? Your kids. It's not the time to ask about exes and what went wrong. It's not something you should even be talking about. Um, Definitely not a time to be talking bad about them. Like, it's a first impression type of thing. And just the
Mhm.
vibe you give off, I think it needs to just be lighter, more playful, like fun questions that don't make people feel they're, being interviewed and judged and just things that make them want to talk about themselves, like your career, but not in ways like what do you do for a living? You a high earner, yada. Just let people talk naturally. But I say keep it light. Like I like to ask about goals and your kids and what do you like to do for fun and what is your biggest achievement in life or yada 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 or call to glory. You know, like one of mine is
Right.
being class clown in the yearbook. Like I love to talk about it, honey. Yes. But just keep it light. Like people don't want to feel like they're being interviewed and like they don't owe you that. You're getting to know each
Right.
other. You don't want to be asked like, what's your blood type? What's your
And
age status? Like, Jesus.
I like how you say that no one owes you anything because in this culture, we have, there's different calibers of women, there's different types of women, and you have
Hmm.
some women who are not going on first dates to a coffee shop or to a park or to an ice cream parlor or anything like that. Now, I say, people have their own standards and their own expectations, but what do you think about that? Like wanting to have elaborate amounts of money spent on you on that first date?
What? I'm sorry, that was the goat. I'm out here with the goats, y'all. Y'all can't see them, but they are really terrorizing me right now. But I mean, I think it's a preference thing. Like, it's a preference thing. I don't want to go on a first date to coffee shops and shit like that. Like,
Okay.
we got to go to a coffee shop. Just let me pay. I'll pay this time. I want to eat. Like, I want to eat. I want to eat over food. But I don't think, people should be demanding first dates that are these upscale steakhouses and $400 unless you're going to pay for it, which I'm someone who wouldn't mind paying for it. But, you typically don't do that for a first date. You let someone take you where they want, but at the same time, like, if you want to be taken on a date, you be taken on a date. You don't have to go Dutch. We're not going Dutch. Like I'm not going Dutch. You're pay or I'm gonna pay, but we're not splitting bills and all that stuff. That's why typically a first date, we already know each other a lot. This stuff is gonna be covered. Like we're
So how
grown.
long should you
We are
take to
middle
get
aged.
to
I like to say we are damn near half a century old. So you
facts?
don't need to be if you can't afford a basic Olive Garden meal that's $60 for two people, you might it's like, and how much are you dating a week that it's like, no, I can't afford that budget. Like, are you dating six bitches a week? Like, slow down.
Right.
But I feel it's not too much to ask that you want to be taken to a restaurant. You want my time. I want your time. The least I can do is feed you something moderate. It's just decency, it's chivalry, it's appropriate, it's investing in someone's time. Like I'm a piece of shit and I don't even deserve a sandwich. Like why the fuck should I come here? And that's how I
Right.
feel. And a lot of people may not agree with that, but fuck them. That's how I feel.
So how long do you typically take to get to know someone before you make it out to that first date?
Um, I say a couple weeks, a month. It depends on the conversation, how we're flowing, the frequency, how deep the vibe is. Stop eating my feet. Sorry. How the vibe's going, just how we're connecting. So I mean, it flows properly. It just, I would say a couple weeks, a month. Depends on where you're
Okay.
located. I'm all about long distance, so you never know.
All right. Well, in this online dating culture, if a man were to come
Mhm.
in your inbox and, we're talking for like 2 days now and the vibe seems to be there, and he's like, okay, well, I don't want to wait 2, 3 weeks to meet you. I want to meet you now. In that situation, is it okay to do the quick coffee shop ice cream, or are we still expecting let's go to dinner at this point and it's only been a couple of days?
Well, it depends on my comfort level. Like if after a couple days, I'm feeling the vibe and I want to do that, I'm gonna go to dinner. Like that's what I want.
Okay.
Like you have asked me out. I feel like if a man has asked you out, typically, most of my experience, they will ask you, where do you like to go? Where would you like? And I'm going to say something like the Outback, Carrabba's, I'm not going to be like Fleming's, because
Mhm.
you don't know what anyone's pockets are like. You don't want to
Right.
embarrass someone. You don't want to put pressure on someone. But like, look, people aren't going to like this statement. You, if you're talking to me, you should have observed me already. You should see how I roll. You shouldn't be asking me out if $60 meal is like, oh, like you are probably gonna have a fucking rough time with me, and you just might not want to do it. Like, I just don't think I spend $60 on lotto tickets and don't even win. Like, get it together. Let's go have a meal. You want to get to know each other? Let's do it over dinner. And that's
I
how I
love
feel.
that. I do. I love that. And that gives
Yeah.
me a new perspective actually, because you have, this culture where, everybody's opinionated and that's fine. But you have men saying women are unrealistic in their expectations when it appears to be you didn't take the time to observe me and see who I am, to see what my standards are or the type of
Boom.
things that I like. You're just really just out here shooting your shot, hoping that I say yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That makes
Exactly.
sense.
And that's a matter of fact, that's a red flag for me. Like someone who has not observed me. I feel like if you are truly interested in someone and not just like pulling numbers, shooting shots, seeing which good morning sticks, you should have wanted to observe me. You should have wanted to learn about me a little bit more. I say a lot about myself. If you are paying attention for X amount of time, you can get a lot of insight on conversation points with me, what I like, what I enjoy, travel, animals. There are a lot of talking points aside from, hey, I think you're really beautiful. Like, oh, thanks, Captain Obvious. I've been pretty since I grew tits at 11. But
Right.
like, let's have some substance for our conversation.
Right.
When we're 40 years old, like, step it the fuck up with the intellect and like. So, I mean, I know that was a
Okay.
bit much. God damn it. See, I'm sorry.
Well, no, okay, so that takes me into my next
Yeah.
question then, because you stated red flags. So what are some other red flags? I want to tell
Yeah.
you most recently for me, one that I know to pay attention to
Okay.
now. Well, I mean, the guy had just met me, and it did take me about 10 days to accept a date from him. And then automatically you come in, you're spending like $500-$600. But to me, you didn't even really know me. And then later
Mm-hmm.
revealed that he wouldn't have, he did it because he didn't think I would like him if he hadn't done it. And so for me, I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, red flag then possibly, but I don't know. So help me out with that. What else could be
Yeah.
red flags?
I don't think that I wouldn't have considered that a red flag. I would have took it as he's like trying to impress you. Now, I like, was he trying to have sex with you later and like trying to
No.
pay for it and show out? But if not, like some men are just like that. Like
Okay.
some men are just like that. Like some men, like, and I say that too. Like I eat here regardless. I do this type of shit regardless.
Right.
You're here without you. So like this is how I roll. This is my vibe. This is what I want to do. That might be how he rolls out the stops when he wants to impress a woman, and that's okay. Especially finances. That's an ego thing for men. My
Okay.
accomplishments, my money, my status.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't have totally judged them for it, but you be careful because you got to run into people who flaunt their money around as a form of control as well. So
Right.
I wouldn't say it's a red flag. It's yellow though. It's like,
Okay.
I'm not going to judge you totally, but I'm going to see how you move financially because they could manifest into control.
Okay.
And so,
And
hmm
see, and I have to
but
keep
like,
Mhm. Go ahead.
yeah, no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I have to keep extra lookout and pay attention to things like that because I come from a space where in my relationship I had to take care of everything. I was, I wore the pants, I
Hmm.
figured everything out. I don't typically know what it is to have someone take care of me and provide for me and
Hmm.
spend money on me like that. And so I
Hmm.
remember I
Hmm.
was out a few weeks ago and was just out networking and vibing and met a guy in the club. He was like, let's go next door to this little Jamaican spot and, see what they're doing over there. I'm like, okay. And so we go next door and the tickets were like $40 a person, right? And so the girl at the table, she was like, that'd be $40 each. Me, I'm
Hmm.
like, $40? Oh my God. Because again, in my mind, I don't come from anything to me. I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot. But for him, it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? He just went right in his pocket, but
Yeah.
kind of gave me a side eye, like, okay, you
Yeah.
can't take me anywhere. You ain't been
Yeah.
nowhere. So, got to be careful I have to be
I
careful
had
with
that
the
experience. I
filter.
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to be
Yeah.
mindful
I
of
had a
that.
similar experience many years ago. And so I totally get it because, when you're not used to something like that, especially with someone treating you, it is like, oh my God, like I remember my very first time ever being taken to an upscale restaurant. And, the menu, everything's a la carte, the one steak, $78. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, all this stuff's expensive. Maybe I should
Right.
get a salad. He was so offended. He was offended. And he was like, I don't want to offend you, but don't ever do that. He's like, I'm a grown man. I would never take you to a place where I can't afford the highest thing. God damn it, Dolce. Okay, where I can't afford the most expensive thing on the menu. Like, get whatever you want. Don't count my pockets. Like, I mean, he was nice about it, but it did put it in perspective. That's true. You're an adult. You know what the price point is. And that's
Right.
another thing with men. If you can't afford the most expensive thing on the menu, don't take a woman there. And that's not to say that she should be an asshole and order the most expensive thing, but don't overplay your finances, your part, whatever you want to call it, and put yourself in a precarious situation in case she does order that. Most likely, she's not going to go in there and order the 85-ounce porterhouse just to be a jackass. And if she does, like, that just fucking sucks. Don't take her there anymore because who does that? But yeah, like, rule of thumb. So, but yeah, anyway, I get it totally because he was like, "This is you embarrassing me in these people's establishment," and I'm like, "I'm a Red Lobster girl, Cheddar
Right.
Bay biscuits," like, But I have
Yeah.
progressed now, but that was years ago, so I get it. I get it.
And so how did you progress to this point of where you're attracting these type of caliber men?
Just being more vocal. One, I mean, I'm pretty hardcore with, like, I am a straight shooter. I'm not scared to say how I feel. I'm not scared to say hard things. I'm not scared to say things that are typically undesirable for a woman to have said. I know what I like. I know what my standard is. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I know I like these types of things. So I'm going to be vocal about those things. And you know what? That's actually because I think it's one of the questions you had told me about. And I was like, oh, I do love that question. Like, if you like certain things, don't play humble. Don't play it humble. Don't be like, oh, all I want is a man that snuggles with me and watches Netflix. And then you really want dates. You want to go on trips. You want flowers. You like romance because then you played this humble role to get yourself in the door. Then later on, you really do want those things. You're not getting them because you already said you didn't really care about that stuff. And then now you're disappointed with him, but it's not really his fault because, like, you came in the door saying you don't even want things like that. And so he rode with it. He's not that type of guy. Like, I feel like I'm going to be upfront from the gate. I like this. I like luxury flowers. I like the, so you can make a choice. Now, the other side of that is do not expect people to do shit that you can't reciprocate, because that's a two-way
Right.
street. You can't want certain treatment and then they get Dollar General treatment, because that's not fair and that's not a good transfer of energy. I strongly feel energy meets energy, and you get what you give. So,
That's a good point. And I hear a
and
lot of
that
men
that
complain about that too. Actually, a lot of men will say that they
absolutely,
do all these elaborate things for their ladies and then they come back on their birthday with socks or, you know, saying a tie. Like,
exactly,
where's the effort?
Cole's register wallet and shit, and he done bought you a $500 purse and shit. Like, that's, it sucks. That sucks. Like, men like gifts. Men
Mhm.
like surprises. Men are not as far from women as far as giving, like, gifts. Who doesn't like presents? We all like presents. We all like stuff. We all like the shop. We all, and I think it needs to be considered. Like, don't ask people for things that you can't afford. And of course, there are people with more means than you. Like, if you're dating a millionaire, I mean, you can't buy him a Lambo, but he
Right.
could buy you one. But,
Mhm.
don't make it something that's a sacrifice, something that, like, it shows that it's a sacrifice of love. Like, I got you something that, was good in value, good in effort, and not just some, like I said, a TJ Maxx wallet for 15.99 that you picked up at the register, and there's just no thought in that. It's crappy, so just match the energy. Don't expect things that you can't reciprocate, because that's big with women, and that's an entitlement with women. And I don't blame men for feeling like that. Like, you got women out here going to dinner with men they don't even like. Like, you don't like that man. I'm just gonna go, girl, to give me a meal. That's so fucking horrible. And
Yeah.
that's actually the kind of shit that's ruined dating. Like, who
Okay.
wants to be used? I don't blame men. Like,
Ratchet.
like,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You don't like them, eat at home. Like, you don't play with people's feelings like that. And stuff like that is what damages the whole dating vibe, and just the disconnect between men and women. Because, like, men really do have to fear whether you really like me or you're using me for some
A
crab
meal.
legs. Like,
Right.
it sucks. Yeah,
Ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah,
Low vibrational for sure.
very much
Um,
so.
so what are some common misconceptions that people have about dating, would you say?
Um, I would definitely say that men should always pay. That's a common misconception. And, like, I hate that. We are not in those times anymore. Back in the day, that was, a little bit more of the norm, because women barely had jobs and incomes and, things like that. Things are expensive now. Opportunity for women is robust. Men don't have to pay for everything. It's not right for any man to have to pay for everything. Even the whole, in the house, he pays all the bills and you pay nothing. That's fucked up. Like, he wants to enjoy some of his money too. I think two people working together get to the finish line faster than this expectation of, you should pay the bills and I should sit here and be pretty and buy weave and get my nails done, and, like, shit like that creates resentment. Like, I want to enjoy my money too, and I just pay all the bills while I watch you look great, and I'm over here with the same ass shoes, like,
Right.
like, and three pairs of jeans, and you got the whole walk-in closet full of shit on your dime, because I take all the responsibility. So,
Mhm.
I don't like that. Definitely don't like this whole we're going Dutch thing. Like, if you don't like me enough to just get a reasonable meal, don't take me out anywhere. Get to know me more till you get to the point where it's okay for you to spend $40 on me, and it's not a fear of whether you're going to go on a date with me and I'm some fucking piece of shit and you will never want to see me again.
Mhm.
Talk to people more before that point, and then you don't have that problem. Um,
That's to the men right there, but okay, yes, keep going.
yes. And like I said, going Dutch, either I'm gonna pay or you're gonna pay. There's times I've paid for a first date. I've paid for several first dates. It's not a thing, but, like, you're not my girlfriend. We're not splitting the fucking bill, and who had the tacos and shit is stupid. Like, pay
Right.
for it, or I pay for it, or stop dating if you can't afford to waste $40 real quick. It's just like, that's how I
Right.
feel. And some
Right.
people won't agree with that, but I said what I said. Um, Also, you having to meet right away, like you said, because most guys are like that. Guys are physical. That's just how they are. And we get that. Like, they want to get in front of you. And a lot of people, they do well online and stuff like that. They rather do face to face. I'm a person. I don't care how you feel about that. I'm not comfortable giving of my time until I vibe with you in a way where I want to allocate that time for you. And that's just what it's going to be. There's no, you can't rush me. You can't, you know, you just can't. Like that's what it is. You don't have to meet people right away. You meet people when you're comfortable. Nobody can pressure you with that. Another topic I'm seeing a lot is, dating multiple, defining dating and dating multiple people at once. When you are in a relationship, you're committed to someone, yes, you deal with the one person. But I feel like if you are single and you are trying to figure out, what you want to do next, it is okay to date other people. It is okay to, you got dinner with this guy and maybe you have dinner with another guy in 2 weeks. Like, what I would say is if you're being like sexual with multiple ones, you definitely should disclose that. But I don't have to meet you and have known you for a week and let you know, like, I'm
Mhm.
single. I don't know if I fucking like you.
Right.
You barely in the running, sir. I don't know you shit. And I'm not gonna sit here and just, the one at a time and then you fizzle and like just date. Do what you want to do until you decide to take someone seriously. If they ask you, are you dating other people? Definitely disclose it. But I don't like that whole, like, you shouldn't date multiple people when you're a single person. Actually, you should. Like, you don't go to the store, look at one pair of shoes, take it home, and
I
then
love
decide you don't like it, and then you go back to the store to look at another shoe.
right.
Like, you're surveying the options until you make the ideal choice, and that's just what it is. And I feel like that's okay. Um, what's another thing? Oh yeah, this came the other day because I was going at it in a group. The whole, there needs to be a certain amount of time before you start dating someone else after a breakup. I hate that. I
Okay.
don't like
Interesting.
it. No, I don't like it. Like, everyone is different. And like, I don't like this thing, like, there's got to be this preliminary 6 months, or, you're an awful person, or this. If you are healed to the point where you feel you are ready, you are, whatever it is done, and you are ready to move forward, move fucking forward. You don't have to wait 6 months so you can prove that you like someone, or if you don't, you never really loved them. Well, bitch, I never really loved you. I'm about to move on. What the fuck I look like wasting goddamn time and I ain't even with you no more. Like, bye. Feel how
Right.
you feel then. Guess I didn't. Good luck to you, buddy. Gee, like, I don't like that. I don't like, I see so much with this social media. I try to stay away from it, but some things irk me so bad. I gotta chime in because of my 8 masculine placements.
Is that what it is? Because I was going to say that that has to be that energy definitely is confidence because a lot of people have a hard time with letting go and they are carrying that baggage from one
Yeah,
relationship to their next relationship. So for them, it is recommended that they take their time. But how do you get to that point where you're
but
able
see,
to
I
just
agree
let
with
go and
that.
go on to the next?
I, it's a case by case basis because every relationship is different. Um, every connection is different. Some are deeper than others. Some were longer than others. Some breakups are more hurtful than others. So I think it's contingent upon when you as the individual feel ready. Do you feel healed enough to move on? Are you still hurt? Are you still dealing with anger? Is it still, fresh bleeding wounds? Then you need time to
Mhm.
yourself to just find who you are again. But, or, I'm sorry because I'm outside, I'm that truck, I'm sorry. But if you're not healed, then you are going to possibly sabotage future dating because you're going to be just in a place of a guarded place, judgmental, just speaking from a place of hurt. But if, not all connections are like that. Not all connections require immense healing. Not all connections are like, I need to take time to figure out what it is that I want in a person and I'm still confused. If you're confused about those things, you don't know what you really want, then yes, you need to take some time. Sometimes that's not the case. I know exactly what the fuck I want. I know everything I want. It just wasn't you. Onward.
Right.
And that's the end of that. And like, so, you have dating someone for a year, or, 6 months or a year is going to be a different type of devastation than someone you've been with for 10 years, like someone you have children, like there's levels to how you feel and how broken you were or what the devastation was with the breakup. And so I just don't like this across the board thing. You can't put people in a box because every situation is so different.
Right.
And judging people like, oh, you're a whore and you never loved me because I moved on with my life. I'm big on like life is not promised. I could die in 6 months. Imagine I was sitting here for 6 months, not dating, not doing anything, only because I ain't want my ex, who I'm not with anymore, to think I didn't love him. Bitch, I didn't. Bye. Like, you think what you think.
Right.
Like, gone. Yeah. People care too much about what other people think and what it may look like to others and all this shit. And then you don't live the quality of life because you're so concerned about what everybody else thinks, but none of them really give a fuck about you, and they will do whatever the fuck they want to do for them. Stop it.
Facts.
And I'm saying be selfish to an extent, but be selfish. Like, just live your life.
Mhm.
Live your life. We are losing. We have a lot of mutual friends that we have seen pass
Yeah.
recently, me and you.
Hmm.
Live your life.
Yeah. Live.
Live.
Absolutely. And you know, something that has helped me is understanding, if I'm saying it right, karmic relationships. Can you touch on
Yes.
that a little bit?
Oh yes, karmic relationships. Well, I'm a witch. That's another thing. I don't know if I don't really
Mhm.
usually announce that, but I do got my tarot in the background. I
Yes,
mean, it
yes.
wasn't quite Christ. I think you guys got the hint. But but karmic relationships, I definitely believe in past lives.
Mhm.
So, and I believe we do bring lessons into our current life from previous lives that we didn't learn before. And I highly believe in our north nodes, which that is what we need to do to achieve our, greatest. And I think that you are introduced with lessons that you have to repeat until you learn it. And there is there it's like challenges to unlock the next level. It's like Mario Brothers. But
Yes. Great.
you know, we we are faced with all kind of situations that, we go through turmoil, all this shit, and life throws that at us again, sometimes in different ways, to see if we've learned the lesson, to see if we've learned our lesson of worth. And sometimes you have to repeat a cycle multiple times for you to understand, like, okay, I get the lesson now. I get what I've been tolerating. I get why I keep meeting the same type of person over and over. Sometimes you have to learn a karmic lesson for simply intuitive. Your intuition is powerful, and many of us will ignore our intuition. Just, we do.
Yeah, we do.
And and then you're faced with these lessons of, you already knew this. You knew you shouldn't do XYZ. You knew XYZ wouldn't work. You knew this criteria doesn't fit. But you're a human being. You have feelings, emotions, different things make you kind of bend on some of your own criteria. And then you go through a circumstance where, because of that, it bites you. And you've got to learn the lesson again. And that is a karmic lesson. So, and I
Nice.
believe karmic lessons are highly tied to intuition. They go hand in hand. It's like the universe or spirit or whatever you believe in testing you to see if you've learned the lesson. So they gonna present you with another circumstance to see if you gonna bend when you have already experienced that exact same kind of shit at some previous. You sure you want to move forward? Okay, we gonna let you. You gonna get this spiritual spanking though, and
Right.
we gonna see if you do it again. So
Okay.
yeah.
We'll
Mhm.
mess around and do it again, won't we? But
We sure do, because we're human beings and we
yeah.
have feelings, and sometimes it might not be the right thing, but you like someone, or you feel bad about something, or you just want to do, and emotions come into things, and emotions cloud judgment. We know that it's the logic over emotion, thing, and that's the constant battle with all of us. We know what we should be doing, we know what we shouldn't be doing, but the emotions are like, what I really want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, what
but
has
just this
helped
one
me
time, like, so.
what I find has helped me in regards to that karmic relationship, or the way that I see it, rather. And I like how you pointed out, like, this is kind of like the Mario Brothers, right? This is a game,
Yeah.
essentially, this life.
Hmm.
It's
It
not a game to be
definitely is.
played with, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you realize that you're playing, you take control, it kind of
Yeah.
helps you navigate a little better. But when it comes to relationships, if I'm Mario, because you point out it's like playing Mario Brothers, right?
Yeah.
If I'm Mario and I get to choose these different avatars or characters to help me get to
Hmm.
different levels, that's kind of essentially the same way with your relationships. When these people come into your life, it's not guaranteed, it's not that it's supposed to last forever. That guy may not be your
Mm-hmm.
forever, but you're trying to make him your forever because you think that that's what you want. When really he's just the character to get you through this phase. You know, he's the character to help
Exactly.
you see yourself in a way that you may not have saw yourself if this character would not have came along. So it's
Exactly.
that when the time is up for that relationship, that yes, you do let it go. I know it hurts, but again, they came for a reason, for a lesson, to show you something about you or to help you propel or
Exactly.
elevate to the next level. So that has helped me a good
Exactly.
deal.
Exactly. I agree. I totally agree.
Um,
And
so,
sometimes it's a lesson of worth, like
oh
we,
yes,
especially women, we accept some crazy shit. Like, women are being abused and they're staying for, and it's these things. And it's not like your ancestors don't love you, but they're like, sometimes we have got to put ourselves through the craziest shit until we are just sick of it.
mm-hmm.
And that's when you leave. And then sometimes spirit's gonna be like, did you really learn? I'm gonna throw this guy in front of you that kind of got the same qualities, and we gonna see if you see it and pass it up. And so yeah, I believe all that.
I think that that's a strong indicator if you are healed or not, because I think once you are healed, or at least on the journey of being healed, you're not going to entertain the same foolishness that broke you. You know,
Yes.
I was in a relationship with
Yes,
20 for
indeed.
25 years, and that relationship broke me. So there's no way
Hmm.
possible that I would even think to entertain anything on that level ever again. So
You
yeah,
are
that's
like running for the hill. He can't. His name can't even start with the same letter. Like nobody who name start with a G can't do it.
no, can't even do it.
No.
But this
Like
is a good
what
question.
you?
Based on that, I'm gonna tell y'all something that I actually, in my brokenness, I proposed to my ex-husband. I
Okay.
did that. I got down on my knee.
Yeah. And
I
I don't
did
think
that
that's
in my
nothing's wrong with that.
brokenness.
I'm not judging you. I don't believe like I think it's okay if a woman wants to do that. Like,
I
don't
think
be
that is so
jealous.
out of order. I do. I think that was so
And
out of order, and I don't recommend women doing that. So that's actually going to be my next question: is
yeah,
um, do you where to go? Do you think it is acceptable for women to pursue men? We'll start there. Do you think it's acceptable for women to pursue men?
I absolutely do. I absolutely do. I will run right up on a little daddy real quick. Like, I actually enjoy being the aggressor, and it's funny because men like that. Like they get so flattered because typically men are the chasers. Typically men, it's the expectation that if he likes it, he's supposed to fight for you, and you play hard to get a little bit, say no a couple times, he got to fight harder, or that and they're getting rejected constantly, and like some there was a situation, I forget, and maybe it was one of your posts, but like men aren't approaching women like they used to. Was that you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was you. And I feel like, there's been so much rejection. Men get tired of that. Imagine like being in that position where you shoot your shot to 100 women, 98 say no. After a while, you're going to want to stop pursuing people. So sometimes it's not even that a man might not like you. He just might be like defeated and like, I don't want to approach her. She's going to be another no. I don't feel like getting my feelings hurt. So sometimes, oh, it's raining.
Mhm.
God damn it. I'm gonna wing it. My umbrella's in there too. I might get it.
Oh man.
Um, so I don't think, I think, sometimes it's refreshing to a man for you to approach him and show your interest, and it actually flatters them. I mean, that's been my experience when I have, but I'm also very aggressive, so I don't really
Okay.
mind. Yeah, I don't really mind. Like, that's cool for
Okay.
me. I don't mind. Like, now I would prefer for a man to propose to me, but I'm not opposed to it if I really like him. I would say I just don't want women doing it from a toxic place. Like, he's about to leave me and he been cheating and like, marry me, baby. Like, do you really want to marry that? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, but like, if he's not asking and it's something you want, and like, we got to get rid of these roles and stuff. Like, some of this stuff, like,
Let's touch on that.
go after what you want.
Yes.
Like, he may not know that you wanted that. I mean, sometimes you just do it. Yeah. Huh?
I want to talk about roles. I do. I want to talk about roles because I think it's the removal of roles is kind of crippling our culture. Like, everybody's even saying men want to be women and women want to be men. Like, are losing track of roles kind of hurting us?
I don't feel we're losing track of roles. I think that it's a perception. Oh God, this would make this an extra 30 minutes if I really get into this. I honestly feel, shit. I just
Speak it,
gotta
girl.
give it
Give
from
it.
both sides. I feel a lot of men are threatened by women's come up. I feel like they are very used to, and I know a lot of you are going to disagree with that. I do not care. This is my opinion. But I feel like times have changed, things progress. We women are just not as helpless as we were before. We're just not. Like, you know, less like 100 years ago we were barely able to drive, vote, put our name on a house deed, a contract. We had
Right.
to depend heavily on men. We had to stay in circumstances that were undesirable. It's just like that. Your grandparents were happy, your grandparents weren't happy, your grandma was fucking miserable, she hated him, he had a family around the fucking corner, she had 7 kids, she couldn't get a fucking job outside of being a maid or a cook or some bullshit. There just wasn't the resources, and women had to be more docile, they had to put up with more shit. We're in times where women have elevated and women are making their own money. They don't have to sit there and be in abusive circumstances or undesirable circumstances where people don't treat them good, they don't make them feel good. And we've got more options, and we will leave. We will, and that's not to say, you take everything as an opportunity to leave what doesn't serve you over being an adult and learning to compromise and having to sacrifice with another person. But I don't think a bunch of women are walking around and all butch and trying to be men. They're not doing that, but we have voices now.
Mm-hmm.
We's got rights now, boss. Like, and a lot of them is just the fact that you're vocal. It's like, she's not feminine, like, because you're just supposed to be, seen, not heard. And, they're the leader and they're the man. And, we got to look at a lot of men. Not all. There's a lot of fantastic men. I see very highly of men. But, all this, like, she needs to submit and, leadership. And, like, not everyone is fit to be submitted to or to be a leader.
Right.
Like, and I feel like there's an entitlement with many men, and not feel like just because they have a dick and a job, people should submit to them. A 15-year-old child who works at Pizza Hut has a dick and a job too, sir. That doesn't mean he can lead me to the pasture. And so
Right.
I I think it's perception. Because even me, for instance, matter of fact, remember the tree cutting thing? Tree cutting,
Right.
the goat house building, all this stuff. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's so masculine. Some men, like, they were just bothered by me doing this thing. Like, they were
Okay.
just, you need a man and you need help. What shows you in these videos I need fucking help? I'm having a ball doing this. Like, where that's too masculine. I'm taking the job away from what men do, and men are supposed to be the physical, and like I'm supposed to be in there cooking biscuits. Like, I can use a hammer, but it's like, and like some men are threatened by that, but it's like, so your call to manhood is contingent upon whether I need you to fix stuff. Maybe you should step your shit up in other areas, step up your intellect, provide
And other
quality in other areas that makes you valuable. Like, if
agree.
my man is cooking himself a meal and I'm like, oh my God, I'm supposed to do that. What is I'm gonna do as a woman? If you doing it, bitch, I'm gonna do some other shit. I got lots of things to bring to the table. Good, cook your food. Like, so then on the other end, you have some men that are like, that's too masculine. That's too, then you have the other men who like, that's so fucking sexy. Like, I love that so much. To do your ass when you cut a tree down by yourself. Like, it's like, so it's not everybody's like that. Not all men want, and that's another thing. I am here to tell you, because I have a very good dating narrative. I date decent men. Not all of them are looking for women to be a successful man. Want everyone to be humble and let them lead. There are so many successful men that appreciate an assertive woman, an aggressive woman. They are so used to having to be on all the time, make all the decisions. Everybody depends on them as the lead. And, like, and it's like refreshing for them to be like, somebody else can take the lead. You did all that shit by yourself, and all I had to do was show up, and you got this organized. Thank you. I can relax. I'm exhausted. Like, so not everybody's some people like assertive women. And that's a common thing I hear, like successful men will never put up with that. Yes, the fuck they will. They will, because not all of them. You know, a lot of men, their manhood isn't tied up into their woman submitting to them. A lot of men don't even say the word submit. Like, and I think I mentioned that in a comment. Like
Mm-hmm.
I hear the word submit so much, and literally the type of men that women submit to have never used that fucking word. They've never had to. The women just naturally fall into place because it's a vibe. What's understood don't need to be explained. You don't got to, I'm an alpha. I am an alpha. Said no actual alpha ever. You just know that is
Right.
alpha. Like, you know, if you got to announce it and fight for it and project it, and women, then you ain't got it, boss.
Okay.
Because men who naturally exude that leadership, that confidence, women naturally submit to them. Submission is not do what I say, follow my lead. Submission is actually considering her in a way where she is comfortable following you not being a tyrant, you know, trying to control her. It's my way. Or submission is actually considering her so much and making her feel a part of things that she is happy to relinquish that to you, you know. You know
Absolutely.
what? Perfect example. 50 Shades of Grey. You know that movie?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
the whole dom and sub thing.
Yes.
And if you've ever been involved in that type of culture, I'm not going to say whether I've ever done it or not. I'm not even talking about it. Okay. But the dom is the man, right? And you're his submissive. It's not about him controlling you and whipping you. He actually caters to you. He wants to put lotion on you. He wants to put your shoes on you and buckle you and make sure it's all about like him submitting to you, which naturally makes you, him being such a gentleman to you, naturally makes you submit to him. You feel protected. You feel cared for. You know, who wants to submit to a tyrant? Who wants
Right.
to submit to an idiot? I don't want to say an idiot. That's not nice. Clean it up. Clean it up. I'm on camera for an audience. And who wants to submit to a person? And you got to look at who you submitting to too, because a lot of men feel you can submit, they should be submitted to. You have to look at decision making. You have to look at how they roll. You have to look at how they handle, you know, failure or when things aren't going good, and like how they handle their emotions, how they handle accountability. All of these things you have to take into consideration before you just are led by someone, because sometimes you can be led to squalor and
Absolutely.
like, no, I'm not going to blindly close my eyes when I see you make repeated bad decisions that leave you in constant regret. That's everyone else's fucking fault but yours, who made a conscious decision. And like, no, you're not going to lead me. I'm going to need to look over the paperwork as well too, sir.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry.
I agree. I
That
agree.
is earned. That is earned. That is not given with a dick. Like, and that's just what it is. And so,
Yeah,
am
and
I
that's
allowed to
why I'm
curse? I didn't
so
curse then.
you're just fine. That's why I'm so big
Okay.
though on speaking a message of healing above all, healing as individuals so that we can be
Hmm.
effective to others. Because yeah, now in my space now, because again, I spent 25
Hmm.
years in a relationship where they didn't know how to lead, you know, and I didn't really give them that
Hmm.
opportunity either because I operated so much in that masculine space. You know, I got it. I
Hmm.
don't need nobody to help me, all of that
Yeah.
type of stuff. Um, but when it comes down to having somebody who can lead effectively, that's like the
Hmm.
main thing that I look for because I want to be, you know, I want to be able to submit to someone who can do the role. But we look at these words as bad words now. And I know you commented on the post from the other day where the term cooperative, I didn't get many women to reply on that post because even words like
Hmm.
cooperative have such a negative connotation. And
Yeah.
so, what is it about this era of women, you know, having issues with words like cooperative and submissive and things
Oh,
like that? Yeah,
okay.
what is that?
But I did not hear the question, Mama. You was breaking up so bad. I can
Oh,
hear you
that's
now, though.
okay.
I think you're moving a little bit more.
Yeah, so words like cooperative and submissive and things like that having such a negative connotation to them nowadays. Why do you think that is?
I, I I mean, it's a combination of things, because like I said, everyone's circumstance is different. Like, you just can't, nothing's one uniform thing. I think it's, some people have dealt with past trauma where, they were mistreated, they were abused, they weren't considered, they were controlled. And like, that's a wound where they're a little protective of like submitting and cooperate. It's kind of like that bra burning thing. It's a defense mechanism because someone mishandled them, misused them. So that's one aspect. I think there's also a misconception of the term in general between both sexes, because like some of the stuff I said previously, like a lot of men just like, I'm a man and you a woman and you must submit. And it's like,
Right. Right.
no, that doesn't just happen according to genitals, it happens according to movements.
Mhm.
And so it also creates that, like, that friction there, because you saying this and submitting, and they're not good leaders. Like, sir, your kids barely respect you, you ain't about to lead me to shit, like, so it's, I think it's that. Like, yo, baby mama don't respect you, your kids don't respect you, but if all that's happening. But so I think it's that. I do think, a lot of it comes from broken homes too, because we're going to speak about that. We know especially the Black broken home, like that
Yeah.
it's been a lot of that. And I think it's upbringing sometimes, when you're raised by, especially like a single mother, who she has to be her, she's got to be both roles a lot of the time. And like, you're raised in a way where, you got to do this and you got to be independent and you got to, and like, it's a conditioning where, that also happens. But I would say, I think a lot of it is, it's media, it's past wounds, it's the wrong men projecting this bullshit, especially all over social media. We have just, everybody's got a fucking voice, and some of them should not have one.
Yeah.
Because like, it definitely, like, and then people read this and then, they take it and they're like, oh God, I'm just disgusted across the board. And now men who are, no, not right now, back inside. Sorry.
You're
Um,
fine.
guys, God damn it, I told them to leave me alone. I'm gonna break my train of thought. So, but yeah, I think, we see, you know, everybody's got all the mouth, especially online. You see it all, and these very strong opinions and statements, and then people read it and it just makes them defensive. And like, you could go on a post and all the men say something, and then especially if a lot of people will see it and then all men are like that and like, oh, I will never submit. I saw these 13 guys go ham on a post and like, oh, it's gross. It's and I think it's all of those things. So yeah, that was a lot,
Okay.
lot of scattered stuff, but yeah, I think it's trauma. I think it's social media. I It's people misconstruing what the term is, not even understanding what submission means. Submission is not tyranny. And a lot of people take it as that. And
Okay.
who the fuck wants to be controlled? We're women that work. We don't need to be controlled now. Like,
Absolutely.
so
And I was going to ask you, so a woman that is looking to attract a good man, what advice do you have for her?
be yourself. There is no telltale blueprint to attract a good man, because there are multitudes of good men that are attracted to different things. So like, I would be your authentic self. That's all you can do. Like, I'm my authentic self. Some of it's harsh, some of it's extra, and some people aren't going to like that, and some people are going to be turned off like by that. And like, I actually want you to be, so you can move out of the way so I can see the other people. Like, and I think you have to be authentically yourself. Like, at this point in life, especially this age, like this, that we, when we were younger, we were all still learning and figuring out who we are. At this point, I am firmly planted in who I am, what I want, where I'm going, what I want in you. And that is what I project. And it may turn some off, but it's refreshing to some just the same. So I would say just be who you are. And, like touching on what I said earlier, If you like certain things, be upfront about that. Do not dim your own light because you're trying to make them like you and all this shit. Be who you are, and the right people will like you. The right people will be attracted to you. And if you got to do all this extra shit that's out of your, like, what you feel it makes you comfortable to attract a particular person, fuck him. Why do you want to do all that and got to do all this changing to attract him? I want to attract someone who I can authentically be my loud mouth, raw, cussing, sailor, tree cutting, traveling, inconsiderate self sometimes. And like, that's who I'm gonna be. And at least you know what you're getting with me. It ain't gonna be a surprise later. Like, yeah, she was obnoxious from the day I laid eyes on her. So she's like, I'm just gonna say be yourself. Everyone isn't gonna like you. You're not gonna be able to get everyone. Not everybody likes me. Some men that are repulsed by me. I am for sure not submissive. I am for sure not docile. I am just not. And like, I'm not going to be for that man, and that is okay. I applaud you, sir. Move around.
I do
Like,
have
it's
to
okay.
say though, because there are a lot of not so great guys and there's a lot of great guys, but it seems to be more teetering on 60% weirdos and not the
Yeah.
great, 40% amazing
Yeah.
guys. And so there almost is kind of, I don't want to use the word competition, but there is this
Yeah.
this energy that says,
Yeah.
so okay, so I want to point out then, right, what makes women like you and I
Yeah.
to be considered quality women is we are vibrational beings, we're energetic beings,
Mhm.
and we vibrate
Mhm.
on a high frequency. That's why I'm
Mhm.
so drawn to you, because your frequency is very high, and men
Mhm.
like that type of things. And you have a lot of women, if you're carrying around this emotional baggage, the bitterness, the resentment,
Mhm.
the anger, the rage, what happened in 1999, if you're still carrying around all of that, guess what? That's going to affect your frequency. You're not going to be able to
Yep.
vibrate at this higher level. And if you're vibrating at a
And
lower level, then that means you're attracting lower level entities and people to you.
I agree
So
with that.
if you do desire to attract better quality of people, you have to become a better quality person in the sense of raising your
Mhm.
frequency. Let go of some of
I
that
agree with
emotion,
that.
because this is a game
I
that we're
definitely
playing.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. And I think we've had discussions like that in the group, like, especially with social media, like, the things that people write and the way when on these conversations, the things everyone has to say about the opposite sex, it's like people are watching.
Hmm.
People are observing how you answer certain things. And you think it's just general topics, and it is. It's general topics, but you have to know people
But
are watching those
hmm,
answers. And like, some of those good men who are looking for someone are watching you, just like, oh, y'all ain't shit. I ain't doing this and this and this.
come on,
I don't want that shit. Like, okay,
come
well, I'm
on.
gonna just stay away from that, because that is a whole lot of bleeding baggage right there, and I don't want that complicated shit. I
Come
don't
on.
want People do not, no one deserves to have to heal wounds of your past that they didn't even do. And they've got to pay the price, and you're at it. You lost me. Okay, I'm back. So I definitely agree with that. And it's the same with men. Like,
Yes.
y'all sit here and see some of these very just chauvinist shit that they say, and I'm like, oh my God, throws up in mouth. And then here you are in my inbox, like, I've
Right.
already peeped you. That's why I say it's so good to observe people. Stop just flying off a ledge and, oh, I like them, I'm gonna message them. Like, nah, sit back. Just observe them in the wild for a couple weeks. It will eliminate like half of them, because when people don't think that you're looking, they really reveal a lot of things that they think. But then they'll come in your inbox like, yeah, because they got their Mac down. But when they on those posts, and it's a bunch of other, like, I'm going to use men, but women do it too. But I'm saying men, then they're on those posts and they're having a big old sword fight of agreement. Like, yeah, these women and blah, blah, blah. And then here you
Hmm.
come in my inbox like, go back and sword fight with the fellas.
Right.
No. So,
Not doing it.
I do
So
agree
yeah.
with that. I'm big. on you need to heal that baggage, because if you bring that shit with you, or you project it because you can see it in people's words and their
Yeah.
responses, you literally are deterring great people from you. And you're also attracting jackasses who want to take advantage of you and manipulate you around that hurt too. So it's both sides.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
Risa Love Notes points out,
Which,
she's
oh, I got
speaking.
another thing that I thought about earlier.
Mhm.
Go ahead. No, you go.
Well, I was just gonna give a shout out
Why
to
did I
Risa
froze?
in the
Okay,
comments. She says, "Love yourself first and pour into yourself, and be the kind of person you want to fall in love with." And I just thought that was so powerful.
I agree. I
Mhm.
agree with that. And I always say, like when people say they're looking for their other half and all this shit, you are not a half. You are a whole. You are a whole by yourself. No one's your other half. No one's the icing on the cake. You are a whole cake, the icing, the trimmings, the candles. The only thing a other person can do is light your little flame and give you that
That's
extra little,
it.
you know? Because and you have to be a whole person. You cannot have half of your identity attached to another person, because then, yes, close the door, thank you. So you cannot have your half of your identity attached to another person. We would all love, like, we're going to be with this person forever, but what happens when you're not? Now
Right.
you've lost half of your identity. You don't know what to do with your hands. You don't have your own life, your own hobbies, your
Wow.
own things, and like it is hard to heal. Like you really got to find out who you are all over again. And like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Like I got this, and I do this, and I travel, and these are my goals, and I have hobbies that I won't even share with a significant other or a spouse because they belong to me.
I
You
love
have to
that.
have things that belong to you, because when
Mhm.
you're in those moments when you don't have anyone else, you got to pour. When you're in those moments when you're trying to get your mind off of a breakup or a disaster or something, you need things to pour into that are not attached to that person, that are not a memory of that person. So you can pour into those things while you heal. And like you need your own identity outside of people. Like
I
just
love
because you're a couple, you are not a Siamese fucking twin. You can have your own life, and so can they, and then you come together to enjoy things together.
I love
And so,
that. I think that's probably the best advice
yeah.
of the night when it comes to dating, when you should already be a whole individual, or at least know yourself and what you like and have your own hobbies and your own things to do. Do not attach your identity
Hmm.
to another person, because I think that's what we're used to. And that's what most of us have done or
Hmm.
continue to do.
Yeah. And I've done it. I mean, I've done it in the past. I've got a
Mhm.
dating history of 25 years, and you just learn. I remember breaking up like, oh, I will never love again. Like, bitch, you are
Yeah.
17, child. Stop it. It's like, after a while, with those breakups and how hard it is to just like get research, you just condition and you learn. And you're like, how about I not lose myself in a person like that, and always have a firm foundation in myself as well?
Right.
Because like people suck and people are flighty and things go south. And like, yes, we can all have this hope, but on the other side, you do have to be prepared for the other side, because people are shaky, and like
Mhm.
people throw you a curveball, and you got to be prepared for that shit. And I
Yeah.
always say luck favors the prepared. I'm prepared.
I love
Like, so
I love it.
yeah.
So make sure that you all are aligning yourselves with follow Skylar on her Facebook. Are you on Instagram?
I am a little bit, but I don't like Instagram.
Okay.
Like, cause it's all pictures. I don't want to post pictures. I want to talk. I talk a lot.
Okay.
I want to write
Okay.
and stuff, and like write soliloquies. So
Got you. Okay. Well, yeah, y'all make sure that you're following Skylar, and she's always posting insightful, uplifting, funny. She's an eclectic person. So make
yeah,
sure that you're giving her a follow. She's going to keep you entertained for sure. Okay.
I'm a
I do
I'm a
also need
jack of
to,
all bitches.
yeah. I love it. I also need to pitch my dating game, Journey to Love dating game. The next one is February 10. I'm deciding if it's going to be here in
Hold on, what
Orlando
date?
or February 10.
Okay. Yes, because the
So I'm
last
trying to
two
get
I am
people,
always out of town. Always out of town.
I'm
Like,
gonna
God
catch you
damn
on
it.
one of them, but I got to get people their
Yeah.
Valentine boo ready. So February 10, y'all, make sure
Yeah.
you're signing up to participate as a bachelor or bachelorette. Do not wait till the last minute. Love connections are being made. I can get you right for Valentine's Day. I'm trying to tell you how your legs up. Valentine's Day, holla at me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes. Yes.
we are right here at an hour, Skylar. So I wanted to thank you for joining me, and we definitely have to do this again. Is there anything that you want to say to the
Yes.
people before we head out?
No, I think I'm good. I mean, like, this was intense. I am very like, I don't like public speaking. I do feel like this is public speaking, and like I have been very uptight and wanted to die several times, and I'm good,
Oh,
and like I enjoyed it. And thank you. And where are the goats? Oh, they done left. I was gonna show you guys the goats, but they're gone. And so
well, you
guess
did
they were like, she don't got
amazing.
no food.
You were amazing. Your energy was just everything that I knew it would be. So yes, please, let's make sure that we get a people more in a couple of weeks. We got to come back and do
Yeah.
this again because I think they really enjoyed
Yes.
this. So I want to thank
Yes. Yes. Yes.
everybody for who chimed in tonight. Follow Journey with Love on Instagram, on Snapchat, on TikTok, Journey with Love everywhere. So make sure y'all following me. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here. I want y'all to remember that
And
life
your
is a
group.
journey.
And your group.
Oh,
Mention
yes.
because you have some amazing like uplifting quotes in there, and I just love it. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes, I do also have a group
Yes.
called Journey to Enlightenment, Release and Restore, Journey to Enlightenment, because again,
Mm-hmm.
my whole goal is to help people heal, help you make it out of this matrix. Understand that this is a
Mm-hmm.
game that you were playing. You got to grab the remote and wake up to the fact that you are playing. Okay. Also, I think I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do like a fundraising event because this game is kind of kicking my butt, right? So I'm thinking on like maybe Christmas or Christmas Day, I'm going to do like a Journey with Love soul expression. So I got a bunch of poems
Okay.
that I've written over the last 2 years. And so maybe put
Yes.
on like a little concert or something to where y'all can maybe donate to the cause and, help me out with this dating game journey to keep it
Donate,
going.
raise.
So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So y'all look out for that as well. I think I'm going to do that
I
either
think
Christmas
so.
or the day after. So, yeah. But in the meantime, I want y'all to remember that life is a journey and not a race. Do it with love. It has a sweeter
Yes.
taste. Until next time.
All right. Thank you. Mwah.
Thank you.
Mwah.